Okay, so if you could just raise your hand if you'd like to ask questions, please. Kieran Kennedy, work away, please.
Hey Gary, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
As a group, you would have had a very obvious goal last year with a World Cup to target and build towards. You've had a really good year since, between winning the Six Nations, going down to South Africa, winning the game down there. Just as you all get back together again now, what's the big focus for the year ahead, or the big kind of driving factor that you guys can try to get behind?
I think it's just to keep driving the standards that I guess we expect of each other, what the support expect of us, and to get to that level you just need to work as hard as possible. So for us it's from the off has been prepare as best we can to drive the standards of trying to be the best team possible that we can be. So that's always kind of the North Star for us. We've spoken as well about inspiring I guess the next generation, or I suppose it's anyone out there, but you know, when you see kids getting behind us, even elderly people getting behind us, everyone in the country really gives us just unbelievable support that I've certainly felt a massive shift. It's always been good, but certainly in the last 2 or 3 years it's just been incredible, and we've got to do what we can to deliver on that and give back.
What do you feel has driven that shift? Because obviously the last few years there's been lots of good moments, but you've had success as a team, you know, for the last decade, going back even longer. So why in the last couple of years do you think that's just been felt more intensely by the group?
I don't know, maybe personally with paying a bit more attention to it and being a bit more aware of it with getting a little bit older, and that experience. I suppose when I was younger in the first couple of squads, you had the blinkers on, but yeah, over the last couple of years been able to kind of look at it from the wider lens and appreciate the amount of support we have, or that I can see around the country. And I don't know what it is. I think just there seems to be a buzz about it, definitely in the World Cup. And I know my first World Cup was in Japan, so there was unbelievable travelling support, but going through a World Cup that was a little bit closer to home and seeing and feeling the support was unbelievable. And then a continuation on from there, I've certainly felt and seen.
A home game against New Zealand on a Friday night is a pretty big opportunity to kind of draw back that home again. They've always been very special occasions with taking the Dublin.
Yeah, you said it, unbelievably special, and everyone in the group would be unbelievably grateful to get an opportunity to play. So to deliver what I was saying for the support that'll be there and the support that'll be watching on TV, we're just trying to do our best to prepare as best as we possibly can.
Just finally, for me, you've had a couple of changes over the last couple of months. Andrew Goodman in as a track coach now, we were talking to him earlier. I know you've worked with him with Lens for the last few years, but just what has his message been to this Ireland group since he's come in?
Well, he was conscious of, cause it was great that he was over in South Africa with us, kind of almost as an observing role, and then getting used to the environment. So it's definitely building on the foundations that would have been there from Caddy, and then I guess challenging us in different ways to grow and evolve and be better than we have been before. So he's definitely hit the ground running from that front for us.
Thanks, Garry.
Thank you.
Thanks. Johnny Waddison?
Yeah, hi Gary, how are you?
I'm good, how are you, Johnny?
Good, thanks. Gary, you played against New Zealand 7 times. Just had a quick look there, so you're pretty used to what they're going to throw at you. How has it changed maybe from the first time you played against them years ago to an Irish team facing them on Friday night? Has there been a change of power shift, do you think, over that time?
No, I mean, I'd never use it or think in my head use the phrase getting used to playing against them, because they're such a good team that it requires like all in, as I keep kind of going back to in the preparation in the week. Because if you're not all in it, well, I certainly feel if I'm not all in everything I can do to try and prepare, they are exceptionally good at exposing that, and in the past it shows that even when we are all in the preparation, they can still expose it with the strength they have. So I certainly wouldn't look at it like that. They're a team you just have to be at your best at, to try and to beat them, and we've been luckily in the past in some of those 7 games to get a win, and then some unfortunate results in there as well. So it's something I'd never take for granted, and excited, I guess, for the challenge.
Yeah, is it basically whoever turns up on the day in the best nick is going to win the match? Is that simple as that?
I mean, I guess from my experience of the last couple of years, games can fall on such fine margins, and against a team of their quality, even more so. So, yeah, I guess so.
And just finally, Garry, just for the centres, Rico and Geordie, did you have a look at them against England, or were they as you thought they would be, or
yeah,
what did you make?
Would have been paying attention to them during the Rugby Championship. They're pretty settled and cohesive together as a partnership. And yeah, would have been watching them there on the weekend against a tough, resilient English side that were throwing everything at them, and yeah, like they have done in a lot of games, just as a centre partnership, they seem to take everything in their stride. So we'll have our work cut out for us from that front.
Thanks, Garry. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. Derek Foley? You're on mute, Derek.
Hi Garry, I was wondering how much of a formative influence the actual All Blacks have had in your career. Most of the Irish reporters here who are on the call were in Chicago, and you don't get used from the bench, and then the following week you make your debut, and then you're scoring tries against Australia. The incredible frustration you must have had that week after that first win over New Zealand, but now you're part of a team that has beaten New Zealand more since then than New Zealand have beaten you. Could you just tell us what were you feeling when Joe didn't bring you on, or how did he even explain it to you?
Yeah, it was funny. Sure, I was 21. I think I was 21. And myself and Joey Carberry were on the bench, and both of us would have been pretty nervous going into the game. I know I was lucky to be on the plane because Keith Earls got injured during the week. That gave me an opportunity to be on the bench, and I couldn't believe that had been selected. So after the game I got a text or two saying hard luck that I hadn't got on, and I was kind of laughing to myself. It just didn't even cross my mind to be there for such a special occasion. I felt like I was lucky to be on the plane over there. So, and then even the fact that Joey came on and played so well, I almost was coattailing on how well he had done, because we kind of both gone through the week to get together. So yeah, it wouldn't have really been a thing. There wouldn't have been any sort of frustration. I guess I was just excited to be there and experience such a monumental day in Irish sports history, I think, the way it's certainly referenced. And then, yeah, since then, I guess, been lucky to play against them over the years. I think there was one game against, it would have been autumn after the Lions tour, and Robbie and Bundy would have been together, and I can't remember who was injured, but one centre was, which gave me an opportunity to play against them and to get the win on a special night there in the Aviva. There's experiences like that stand out, and as I said before, you just never take it for granted, being lucky enough to beat such an exceptional side. And yeah, it'll just take everything this week to try and repeat that.
And just as a corollary to that, Declan Kidney famously would have run around different rooms so he wouldn't have to speak to you if he'd have made that decision not to bring you on. What did Joe say to you afterwards, or did he put his arm around you, or did he just...
I think he knew. He was just like, I can't remember exactly, but I do remember after the game in the hotel, obviously everyone's celebrating, and he let me know, he was just like, just a heads up, you're going to be starting next week against Canada. So I was pretty nervous from that point on, because it was going to be my debut. So, but yeah, he was, I don't think I wouldn't have expected or looked for an apology at all. I think he was happy. Everyone was buzzed. It wasn't even a thing, I guess.
I can picture the scene now. You put the beer down immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks very much. That's
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, Derek. Cian Tracy, please.
Just a quick one for me. Hey Gary, how are you?
How are you, Cian?
Just on the home record, like you built up a serious record at the Aviva. Look, we want to win every game we play, but that gets spoken about much. I mean, how much reporters you made the Aviva?
No, I wouldn't know the number, but I think it's just because it's such a special place for us to play, and I think it's become special it's continuing to become more special with every experience we have there, and some of the results that when our backs are against the wall, even thinking back to, it's funny referencing the Canada game, the debut, when I know we had Australia, I think it was the last test of that November series, and it was Bestie's 100th cap. There was a few injuries during or before the game, because I know I was playing 12, which wouldn't have been the first choice. And then throughout the game, I think Marms was on the wing. I don't know what other, Joey Carby could have been full back. But then you come out the other end and win a game like that, and it just adds to, I suppose, us feeling how special it is those nights can be, and makes us all appreciate what's coming this weekend. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just it's always been special, but with every result we've had there, it just kind of adds to the legacy and wants us to, or we certainly want to, keep that going.
Yeah, like it's an unbelievable run that you put together, like I said, but it gets seriously tested this month when you look at the 4 games you have. Like, I mean, November series don't come much tougher as a whole, do they? Oh
no, it's amazing. Not saying, like, I think all players I know, and certainly myself, pretty short-term focus. You don't think about the game last week or think about the game the following week. It's just all in on this one, and whether we win or lose, that's not in our control. Just how hard we can work in our prep. That's just what all the focus will be on, to be honest, as opposed to any records or anything. It's prepare as best we can, and hopefully the result can go our way.